Mark chapter 15, verses 1 through 15. Very early in the morning, the chief priests with the elders, the teachers of the law, and the whole Sanhedrin made their plans. So they bound Jesus, led him away, and handed him over to Pilate. "Are you the king of the Jews?" asked Pilate. "You have said so," Jesus replied. The chief priests accused him of many things. So again Pilate asked him, "Aren't you going to answer? See how many things they are accusing you of?" But Jesus still made no reply, and Pilate was amazed. Now it was the custom at the festival to release a prisoner whom the people requested. A man called Barabbas was in prison with the insurrectionists who had committed murder in the uprising. The crowd came up and asked Pilate to do for them what he usually did. "Do you want me to release to you the king of the Jews?" asked Pilate, knowing it was out of self-interest that the chief priests had handed Jesus over to him. But the chief priests stirred up the crowd to have Pilate release Barabbas instead. "What shall I do then with the one you call the king of the Jews?" Pilate asked them. "Crucify him," they shouted. "Why, what crime has he committed?" asked Pilate. But they shouted all the louder, "Crucify him." Wanting to satisfy the crowd, Pilate released Barabbas to them. He had Jesus flogged and handed him over to be crucified. Now in verse 5, when it says that Jesus made no reply, it tells us that Pilate was amazed at this, that Jesus was silent, that essentially he's not giving any sort of defense. He's not trying to get himself acquitted. He's not trying to get released. And of course, we know what's going on here. But Pilate, in the moment, didn't. This would have been just so strange to see somebody just accept these charges that have been brought against them, especially as Pilate is interacting with Jesus, and it's just not connecting with what he's hearing about Jesus and why they're so mad at him and the person that Jesus is in front of him. Now we know that Jesus doesn't make a defense because his death becomes the defense for us. That his death is what sets us free. When you skip forward to the early church in the book of Acts, and when the apostles and the disciples are brought before leaders to give an account for what they're doing, they also don't give a defense. Because I think they understood what Jesus understood, that there's something bigger at stake than personal freedom. So where Jesus faced what he did, where he went to his death to die for us, so that his death would be a defense against sin and death, the disciples, the apostles, they don't give a defense. They speak the gospel. They proclaim the truth because they understand there's something bigger going on in the moment. So when we're facing big moments, whether it's something like this, where we have to potentially give a defense for our faith, for who we are in following Jesus, or it's something else, maybe we need to stop and ask ourselves, what's the bigger picture? What is God doing maybe behind the scenes? And how can I bring God glory? How can I surrender and follow God's will in the midst of this? And may he give us the right words, the right actions, and if necessary, the right silence to continue to do his will, even in difficult moments like this.